Good morning, and happy Wednesday to all of our Youth Solutions and Jobs for Michigan graduates, family, friends, and supporters. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today for our third in-person live broadcast of Coffee with a Purpose. Today, we are coming to you live from Detroit, Michigan. As a continuum of our last two sessions, our conversation will focus around diversity, equity, inclusion, and youth. My name is Nakia, and I am the manager of program success in the East for Youth Solutions. Unfortunately, Sarah and DeAnthony have not made their arrival. They will be joining us soon.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Latanya Bracewell Felder. I am the Jobs for Michigan Graduates Youth Engagement Specialist from the Detroit Employment Solutions Corporation. I am functioning here and I work with Covenant House Academy.
Awesome. So if you haven't had the opportunity to join us for the first two sessions, please head over to ouryouthsolutions.org, where you can find all of our past sessions of Coffee with a Purpose under our events page. If you've been with us, then you know we've been talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion with our JMG students in the Southwest and the North. They shared their past experiences and different aspects of DEI. Today, we'll be talking about suggestions on how to treat others the way you want to be treated, and mostly we talked about in the past of how to help them have a future that is more open and inclusive to all of our future leaders. On our panel today, we have 5 amazing Jobs for Michigan graduates, or JMG as we like to call it, youth and alumni from Pershing High School. They've all been in Carolyn Miller's JMG program here at Pershing, and we'd like to thank Carolyn for opening her classroom for our session today. I'd like to take a minute to introduce everyone to our audience. Arielle McCurry, she is a 17-year-old currently at Pershing High School. Then we have Marquand Oliver. He is 16, also a senior here at Pershing High School. We also have MD Khalil, who is joining us today. He's 16 and is a senior at Pershing High School. And we hope to introduce Sarah and DeAnthony later in the show.
Thank you all for being here and being a part of this very important conversation. Audience members wanting to ask questions of our panelists, please do the following. Use the chat function as we reserve the time at the end of the audience to answer any questions, and also make sure that you place your name down so that we can identify you readily. Nakia.
Yes, now that we have introduced everyone, let's turn it to our panel. First, we like to start the conversation by letting everyone know this is a safe space and you are welcome to share as much or as little as you wish. I know this is an important conversation, but can also be a sensitive one, and we want you to feel comfortable. I will take some time to ask each of you questions, and please feel free to chime in if you have something to add after someone else speaks. First, I love for each of us to describe yourself. We'll start with Arielle.
As she said, my name is Arielle. I'm a senior at Pershing High School. I am currently a vegan. I've been vegan for 3 to 5 years. When I graduate, I do want to be a firefighter to make a change in the world and make it a better place.
So beautiful. What about MD? Can you share?
Hi, my name's MD again. So I think I consider myself funny, humorous, and compassionate about others. And I think I'm also kind. Some people might not think that, but I like to act kind toward others and hope everyone has their best day.
Awesome. I love that. What about you, Marquand?
I'm Marquand Oliver. I'm a 12th grader here at Pershing. I have 2 siblings, an older brother and an older sister.
That's so cute. All right, so another question. Why did you want to be a part of this conversation today? Marquand, let's start with you.
I feel that it's very important for us as young people to expose ourselves to conversations like this so we can get understanding.
Awesome. And Ariel?
I just wanted to speak out and have conversations with other people I have never met before and tell them about myself and what's going on. And also, I just want to speak out on Ms. Miller. She told me about the program and I just want to say she's a wonderful person and I'm glad that I got to be a part.
Awesome, that's beautiful.
My reason is also the same for my client and ours. I feel like adults need to keep in touch with the youth more to better understand. And
I love that.
And Miss Miller told me about this. I felt kind of interested joining in, so I'm glad.
Aw, that's so sweet. So thank you so much for sharing about yourselves and your personal reasons for being here and having this conversation. For context, inclusion is the action or state of including or being included within a group or structure. And how will the contributions, presence, and perspectives of different groups of people are valued and integrated into an environment. MD, can you tell us about a time where you felt inclusion or where you were the one to make sure it was happening in a situation?
So during my third grade school year, it was in third grade, there was a teacher that had an assignment for the class. It was two groups, people that were born in the USA, we have to stand at the front side of the wall in the classroom, and two people that were born in other countries that had to stand at the back side of the classroom. So the main objective of the assignment was, what was it like for people that were born in different countries come to the US? And when we did that assignment, there was a lot of students that were born in the USA and some students that were not born in the USA. Now, for the students born in the USA, they didn't actually really talk proper English. They didn't sound, it's mostly gibberish, so not proper language. And then the people that were born in other countries, their English was fluent. They speak properly, even though their grammar might have been off. They actually they spelled correctly. They talked efficiently. So it was kind of a different. So with that assignment, we had to guess what was their experience for people in other countries to come to the US. And there was one student, I think it was a boy. Yeah, he was from Mexico. He was from Mexico, sure. So for him, his family were immigrants that migrated from Mexico over to US, migrated over to Texas, is when they came from, and then they moved to Detroit, Michigan, to the school that we were attending at third grade. And by the time in the assignment, we had to describe ourselves, how we felt, what we thought. And when the assignment was over, I went to talk to one of those kids. They were super nice. I talked to them about how did they feel any different? Did they feel they didn't belong here, come to the US? They said no, they felt like they liked the US, they liked this country, they felt they should have stayed here, they should have been born here. But I told them there's no problem being born in different countries. Everyone is the same. So I think that's what we all need to still understand.
That's right.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you so much for sharing. And D'Anthony has joined us. Thank you so much for being here, D'Anthony. We are talking about a time where you felt inclusion and or a time where you made sure someone felt inclusion. And so we're going to pick up with Ariel, but we're coming to you shortly.
When I lost my brother, I wasn't as strong as her, but I had to lift myself up for my family because I knew that they was going through the same pain as me. So, I struggle every day because I lost my brother August 10th, 2023. And, I just wanted to make sure like, it's okay to be sad sometimes, but I had to stay strong for them and make sure that they was okay, even though I knew I was going through a lot of things.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and condolences to you and to your family. Marquand, can you share as well?
Before you do that, would you mind introducing yourself to us? And let everybody know your age, where you're from?
Hey, I'm from here, Detroit, Michigan. My name is Anthony Martin, and I'm a Virgin alumni. I graduated in 2013.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. So, Marquand, will you share, and then D'Anthony, will you share again, just the time where you felt inclusion or you made sure someone else felt inclusive?
So I've been in a classroom where you have to work in groups with people. And sometimes, it'll be one person who wouldn't be with anyone in the group, so I would go over there to them and try to work with them, or someone would come try to work with me sometimes.
Awesome, I love that, thank you so much. And D'Anthony, thank you again for introducing yourself. Can you please share?
Well, I'm the person that don't like other people to not feel included in situations. So, for example, a couple of things I ran into last school year where, it's like a favoritism thing. So I would be like, I would be like, I was just like to include people in situations like group work or just make sure nobody's left out or their opinion is not heard.
That's good.
Absolutely. I like that.
That's good. Okay. Ariel, after talking through some of the examples of inclusion, why do you think it's important to make sure that we intentionally are inclusive? So for example, make sure that we're being inclusive of those that we go to school with, that we go to work with, that we travel with, that we live with. What do you think are some of those reasons, and what has been your experience?
Because life is short and you can't take life for granted. And we have to stop with the negativity and start thinking more positive. Also, I just wanna say, like, it's always gonna be another day, so don't always have that negativity stuck in your mind, because tomorrow it will be a new day. You don't have to keep thinking on the past, towards the future.
I love that. You sound like a motivational speaker. You got me excited. All right, we're gonna go with that same question. MD, I'm gonna do like your mom, Mohammed, just for those, so we can be culturally appropriate. What are some examples of inclusion do you think that are important and that are intentional? So for example, examples that you can be inclusive of those that you go to school with, you go to work with, you travel with. What's some of your experiences?
So my experience, well, I think teachers or the school should have like an inclusive educational system that understand the importance of the unique contributions students bring to the classroom, like their diverse backgrounds, and they can benefit the class as a whole. And the kind of educational process identifies the problems that any student may face and work and to remove those barriers.
That's an awesome response. That's excellent. I appreciate that. Marquand, you wanna respond to that?
I feel like, you never know what people are going through in their life. So if one day you're just nice to them, they may be sad, that might brighten up their day and make them think about life in a different way.
Absolutely. Thank you for that response. D'Anthony, did you want to add on to that?
Positive always overly negative. So
On that, there you go, positive over negative. Thank you. All right, so from your perspective, can you talk to us about the importance of accepting others as their original selves and how this contributes to inclusivity? Mohammed, you want to respond on that?
I think accepting others can lead to a better understanding of that person, but others do not have to, they do not have to be like you, or because the same applies to you. People are entitled to their own opinion. People are free to think whatever they want. It's just a matter of time what they would do to you or what they think about you. But what they really think about shouldn't matter to you, because people have their own problems. They can they have other stuff to deal with, and morally, you're not the only person in the world to have a problem yourself. There are others. There are way worse conditions facing worse problems than most people in this world.
Absolutely, wonderful response. I know you're really 43 years old, that's what it is. I feel that maturity. Ariel, did you want to respond on that?
Yeah, as I said, it's important to, ask what they going through and how they feeling, because you never know if they having a good or a bad day. Also, I just wanted to speak out on, as I said, the future, never look back at the, past, look forward to the future. And also, it's important because everybody matter in the world, and you know, it's always okay to listen to that person, because they could have been going through something real bad, and you know, they didn't have anybody to talk to, so if you don't listen to them, you never knew what was going on with them. So, as I was saying, it's a big thing to always listen to somebody or just ask them how they dating, even if you didn't have time to listen to them, but just make sure you ask them, like, is you okay today, or how your day going, or how yesterday was.
Always communicate, that's what I hear.
Yeah,
And
so always communicate.
and having a listening ear, I hear that
Yes.
also. Excellent, that was a wonderful response. Did anybody want to add on? Yeah.
Checking on your peers is always good, but knowing your limits is a different thing. Cause also you don't wanna trigger that person by the question that you ask.
Good response. Thank you for the input. All right, so in connection to the previous question, can anyone tell us about some things that you've noticed or you've been involved in here in the Detroit area that promotes inclusivity? So simply, what are the things that you've experienced here in Detroit that have made you feel more inclusive? I'll start with Mohammed.
For me, the area that I lived in, what promotes inclusivity is, as for my area, I live in like Hamtramck,
Okay.
so there's a lot of Muslims there.
Mhm.
So for me, I don't know, but I do know one. I think one's about mental health, like how to understand yourself better as an inclusivity. Because I see a lot of people that need mental health, bipolar disorder or other psychological mental issues. So I see a lot of promoting about that.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Marquand, would you like to add on that? Want me to repeat the question?
Yes.
Okay, so in connection to the previous question, can you tell us about some things you've experienced that you've noticed or even been involved in here in the city of Detroit that promotes inclusivity for you as a Detroiter? So I'm simply asking you, how has your lived experience linked or connected you to today's topic of diversity, equity, and inclusion? What is diversity, equity, and inclusion to you? Are there any experiences that you've had, some lived experience, something you've gone through you can share with us? All right, okay, didn't mean to make it so difficult. D'Anthony, did you want to respond on that question? Basically, how has your lived experience connected you or linked you to today's topic of diversity, equity, and inclusion?
I know Jag in a way helped me out with that, with self-reflection and also putting me out there with a variety of people from different backgrounds.
Excellent, self-reflection, I heard that, now that was an excellent response. All right, did I miss anybody? Yes, Ms. Arthur.
As he said, the JMG class with Miss Miller, and also because we are very involved in this class, and also how we talk about a lot of things with the DEI here.
Okay, thank you for sharing. All right,
So thank you all for sharing it with us. I think that was a very important question. We're so appreciative of you being so open and willing to share your thoughts. Just to give a little more background on why Latanya and I were so excited to moderate today's session, we're going to take a brief moment and we are going to share a little bit about ourselves and why as we're moderating for this hour. So a little bit about me. I am a proud graduate of Detroit Public Schools, right here in the 313. I graduated from Kettering High School. I am a former high school ELA teacher. I am so excited. I had some amazing teachers growing up in Detroit Public Schools. I mean, I can still rattle off several names right here. But I had some amazing teachers, and so in my experience as a teacher, I wanted to be that. I was always looking for pivotal moments to be that for my students. And so I'm grateful, number one, that I've had that time, and that was it was a time to be a teacher, especially during COVID, right? And to be in that realm. But I'm grateful to be here as a manager of program success. Now I still get to be involved in the day-to-day interactions with the young people. This opportunity for one, I'm very grateful for. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to interact with you all, to learn more about you. I'm currently in this role as a manager of program success, but again, it gives me the opportunity to work with Carolyn and Miss Latanya on a day-to-day basis to figure out exactly how can we take the youth from one level to the next. So I'm very passionate about that, even in my personal life with my little cousins. I'm constantly asking, what do you need? What are your needs? What's going on with school? Where are you going? What are your post-high school plans? And so really having an intentional awareness of what those plans are and working towards getting them from one step to the next. Lastly, I'm a student myself, so I'm currently at Wayne State University pursuing my doctorate in educational leadership. And so I know that currently I'm in a cohort of 13, and the majority of us are African American. And so while that is, we're kind of considered the minority sometimes in this particular space, I'm grateful to be able to work with all my other people in my cohort. And so I'm grateful that because we are so close together, we're able to work together regardless of race, regardless of age, regardless of gender, we're able to work together. And so I'm grateful for opportunities that even I get to experience in my day-to-day life. So I'm just grateful to be here. It has been a pleasure getting to know you all, and I'm looking forward to the remaining of the conversation.
Excellent.
So Ms.
Tia.
Latanya.
Thank you. I'm Latanya Bracewell Felder. I am a proud Detroiter as well. I am a graduate of DPS Renaissance High School. Back during that time, we had excellent teachers, and it was just fun going to school. It was constantly a challenge, and they pressed us, and so it was great. I then went to Michigan State University, where I studied biological sciences because I wanted to change the world. And that was a tough experience coming from Detroit, because it was a cultural change that I had to go through. So I left from being in Detroit, going to an area where predominant students didn't necessarily look like me. So it was a different type of way for me to, work and get through. But I did that through connecting with people as well. I then left Michigan State, and because I had a professor that told me something about a class that we had, and I said, well, you know what? I'm gonna go there. So I went to West Africa and I joined the United States Peace Corps, which is the toughest job you'll ever love. And it's awesome because you get to go and you can work in a number of different areas. I worked in disease control, so disease prevention was my area. And I got to learn how to talk to people, right? I got to learn how to go in and talk to the chief of whoever that village was and find out what their interest was for that area. So it made me open, it made me culturally aware, and it made me love names and areas and the globe and things of that nature. So through that, I've learned a lot of cultural awareness, and I try to bring that with me wherever I go. I am now a youth engagement facilitator through Jobs for Michigan graduates with the Detroit Youth Funding Solutions Corporation, and I work specifically with Covenant House Academy, where there are students that are coming from a wide variety of backgrounds, whether that's homeless or adjudicated or just having issues or needing to get their credit together and things of that nature. And I think that I'm a good fit for that, because I realized that I am in the job that I needed when I was in high school. So like you were saying, MJ Muhammad, knowing where the students are at and reflecting with them helps a lot. And so I do that every day. I realize that not only are you learning from us, but we also have to learn from you as well, so that we can make that work. And so that is what I'm continuing to do now. And I love cultures and international things, and I try to connect my students with that as much as possible. Thank you.
It's beautiful, Latanya. So before we jump into the remaining questions, are there any questions you'd like to ask us? No questions? Oh, that's good. I was almost reluctant to ask that question. Yes, but we are indeed grateful to be here, and I think, I am currently, so this is a sidebar, no one asked me to share this, but I would like to share. I'm currently doing my dissertation on understanding the impact of transformative leadership. And so I heard Ariel speak to Miss Miller and how wonderful of a person she is. And so I think it kind of sort of fits into this. Sometimes we meet these adults or we meet people in our lives and they don't realize, even young people, we don't realize the impact that we have on each other. We don't realize how we have the ability to either make or break somebody's day. And I heard, I believe DeAnthony was talking about positive over negative. I had an experience this morning getting coffee. I chose positive over negative because I did not want to number one, be rude and then come here and interrupt my day and interrupt my beautiful experience with you all. So we have the power to transform each other's lives. And I'm hoping that even from this experience today that we can walk away and feel a little bit better, another drip in our bucket, okay, another ounce of joy. So I'm grateful for, again, I'm just honestly grateful for this experience. I'll be honest, when Miranda asked me, I was a little like, oh, okay, but I'm grateful that I have the opportunity. Before we continue, Latanya, do you want to add anything?
There is nothing more that I want to add other than I'm so glad that you all are here and that you're sharing your experiences because as I indicated before, you all are ambassadors. So everyone who's watching you right now, they may have some of the same questions that you have as well. And so I just thank you for taking the time to join us and being a part of the panel.
Awesome. So yes, thank you all again for allowing us to share a little bit about ourselves. And with that, we have a few more conversation pieces for you all. We will be turning to the audience for our live Zoom questions shortly, but before that, let's jump into the remaining questions. This next question will now we've all been asked during all three parts of the series. And it was a great question brought up by Terry Albers from Spectrum Health, as she co-moderated our first DEI and youth session. She stated that it seems the youth today are more open to embracing diversity, learning about true equity, and being more inclusive. How do you all think we can connect adults to kids and tap into that positive over negative energy? We will start with Marquand, if that's okay.
I feel a lot of times adults feel like younger people's opinion is like irrelevant, kind of, because you know you haven't experienced as much as an adult. But I feel that we can all learn from each other, and the more open an adult can be to listening to a younger person, then it can change.
Absolutely.
And can I add this real quick? I am learning that every day because I have a 14-year-old, my goodness, and she thinks she knows more than me. And I'm learning to listen more and talk a little bit less. And I am learning this positive over negative with her. So thank you so much for sharing that. Ariel, what about you?
It would be like if we could have our youth come together and ask them how they day going and how we can work together to ask for a conclusion. And also have the adults tell us what the in conclusion mean to them. And to find out how we can have the common grounds and the differences between each other.
Love it, common ground.
I love that.
Yes.
Yes, I love that. MZ, would you share, please?
So what Marquand said, I agree also. And sometimes adults and the youth aren't always right with each other, but I think adults should just try to listen what the youth are saying. We have a better understanding if we just talk to each other, like one-on-one, face-to-face, and that's what I think.
I like that. Talking face to face, one-on-one, I love that. What about you, T. Anthony?
In my opinion, listening is always good, but it's also how you communicate it. So, things could be where, like that. Things can be taken in a different way based off of your tone and voice or
Yeah,
what you say or your approach onto the topic. So it's not necessarily have to always be the parent not listening. It can just be how you're speaking to them or the word choice that you're using during that conversation.
I love that.
yeah, I mean, that was excellent, absolutely, absolutely.
And took me back to a lesson in English. Text has no tone. You have to kind of have to create that. So thank you. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, a lot of times I hear you saying that people need to listen in the tone that you said, and you're absolutely correct. Sometimes it's just sharing, right? So sometimes if people come to you, you know, and they're like away from other people, then that means they kind of want to be away. But if they speak to you in a different way, or if they text you, you respond back to them, you know, but if they come to you and they talk to you one-on-one, you don't want to say, okay, well, I'll text you about that later on. You actually want to talk to them right then at that time, so you can find out what's going on. And I think that helps a lot. It helps tremendously to be able to hear where another person is coming from and to be able to relate to them, which is what you were saying, Dan. I appreciate that.
Awesome. So with that, what do you think makes it so hard for some people to take the steps to make room for or to be accepting of others, to be more inclusive? Ariel, can we start?
Maybe the fact that they feel like they're not being listened to, or even sometimes people feel like they're not good enough and that they don't have enough hope in their hearts.
Response. I love that. I love it. What about NZ?
Well, for me, everyone has their own view of the world. Well, the world is different for everyone due to someone's influence, belief, ideas, or culture. I think that's why it's probably hard for others to accept people's inclusive something as I was about to say, but people have their own opinion about others. That's probably what makes them not be accepted.
Okay, I have a follow-up question.
I also do.
Answer.
The tickets, look at the tickets. Next one. 225.
And so, and there's some activities that are going on, but we thank you so much.
And back.
We want to thank you so much for your patience. We are live here at Pershing High School, Detroit Public Schools. So it is count day and that's an activity that's going on. We thank you for your patience and listening. And so we're going to go right back to our panel discussion.
Yes, so I'm going to ask that question again because I started looking for a raffle ticket myself. So I'm very excited about those prizes. Yes, so I want to ask that question again. What do you think makes it so hard for some people to take steps? For raffles?
No.
All right, what do you think makes it so hard for some people to take the steps to make room for or be accepting of others, to be more inclusive? So MD was speaking, did you finish your points or would you like to continue? Okay. Okay, awesome. So D'Anthony or Marquand?
So, people tend to contemplate or overthink, and majority of people tend to put their insecurities first, which causes a problem. And it can be a problem either way, as in you're affecting someone else or you're stopping yourself from doing something that you want to do. And that falls in line with fears. So
That's an
That's
excellent
good, yeah.
reflection, excellent reflection.
Very good. Marquand?
I feel that it may just be a lack of understanding. So the more you learn about different people or different topics, the more inclusive you can be.
That's very good. I thought about two perspective, like, there's a saying like, don't judge a book by its cover. And so I'm often really like taking a look about perspective, like what it's all in perspective. And so I just immediately kind of start self-examining myself, like, are there areas where I have maybe looked at something with the wrong perspective? And so I was gonna ask that question of you. Do you think, are there any areas or is there a situation where maybe you looked at something with the wrong perspective and then it turned it in that negative into a positive?
I always think, well, me personally, no, only because of the fact that I always think that and give people the advice to ask questions versus assuming. So whether you're right or not, it's still good to ask questions so you can have a better understanding, or you can have reassurance that you're right on what they're saying.
Anybody else?
Can I share for a moment?
Yes.
We're talking about cultural acceptance and we're talking about effectively communicating with people. I think everybody in the world wants the same thing. They want health for their family. They want a good means to take care of their family. They want to live in a nice place, right? So the more time that we share with one another, the more lived experiences we have. So if you and I, D'Anthony, get together and we fellowship, we're gonna know each other a little bit better. Why? Because we spent time together. So a lot of that learning people, bridging gaps and things of that nature are just you taking the time to spend time with that person. All your responses are really awesome.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful.
So finally, I want to ask you all, what is something, being that your panel members, you guys are all young, right? And we appreciate your input in your role as the Youth Solution Ambassadors. What is something you would want your younger self, right, to know about the importance of embracing diversity and being inclusive? What would you tell your younger self?
I know,
Thank you, Marquand.
I feel that the more you get to know yourself, the more accepting you can be to others.
Yes.
I agree with that, and for more details, in my opinion, the more you know yourself, basically restating what he said, but also it's opening up doors to like sit here and say, okay, well, I'm not no better than them on that topic, or they might be better than me doing that, and I might be better than them, but at the end of the day, everybody have their problems. So it's good to always not be so judgy or not to always exclude yourself from reality. It's life.
It's good, it's good. Ariel?
To be, remember how important it is to be able to forgive someone or actually listen to someone. I used to have a hard time forgiving people and taking the time out to actually listen to them. I used to have a hard time being able to talk about my feelings and hearing people out. Also, I don't let go of my I let my passion go because I used to do quotes and like send them out to people and ask them how their day was going and all of that. But since I lost my brother, it's been a hard time and you know, I gave up on my passion. So I tell my younger self to never give up on your passion because you know, it's always another day and to always forgive because, you know, nobody is better than the other person.
I love that, Ariel. Never give up on your passion, your desires, and, we're all the same, basically.
For one, I also do all of them, like what they all said,
Yes.
is also just make sure. Never let people's opinion influence you or change the way you think.
Love that. I want to just chime in real quick. I heard so much from you all, so I'm learning even in this moment. Don't give up on your passion. Forgiveness is for you. I thank you all for again sharing. I'm gonna keep saying that because I'm very grateful that you all are being so open and willing to be transparent in this moment. So, but if I can give myself some, my younger self.
I was gonna ask you that, yes, yes.
Yes, keep on going, like keep striving. We are going to have some hurdles, we're going to have some bumps in the road, so to speak, but to keep pushing, keep pushing. I heard that loud and clear, don't give up on your passion. You don't know who you are, you don't know who you're helping by sending the quotes or texting, how's your day? You don't know who you don't know how you're helping somebody else by being your true authentic self. And really, I heard self-love, like those that may not have been your exact words, but I heard that. You don't know who you are helping by being you and bettering yourself every single day. So I'm grateful. Right, I'm sorry, Liz, I
No,
interrupted.
What I would tell my younger self is to don't worry about the energy level that you have and continue on and don't let negative responses go right off your back. Just let it float, right? Because tomorrow is another day. It's a new day with new experiences and new opportunities to meet people. And I know that, well, I tell my younger self, you're gonna grow by all the people you meet. Everybody's gonna make you stronger than what you were before. You guys are awesome. I really, really appreciate you so much and your willingness for being here with us in this conversation, representing your peers and representing Pershing High School as well, and answering all the questions as well. Now we want to take a moment to answer some of the great questions that have been coming in from our audience. And so we've got a couple questions here, and as we read through some of the new questions that are coming through, there's a question that I want to ask you guys, and it is basically what on the importance of accepting others, what do you think makes it so hard for people to talk about, and why do we need to talk about it? So on the importance of accepting other people, why do you think it is so hard for people to talk to one another, and why do we need to talk about certain issues? Why do we need to talk about inclusivity, diversity, equity amongst people?
Should I go first?
Yes, you can go first.
As we talked about before, I think we just have to understand better about inclusivity and how others can understand it too. And for that, I think, as like before, as what we said before, other people's opinion can influence others, and people view the world differently too. That's probably why I think it's hard for accepting inclusivity, because we don't understand it much.
That's an excellent response. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Ariel, would you like to go?
Sure, I would say because they probably let their pain overwhelm. Because I'm just saying, a little short story. Like I said, I lost my brother and I've been having like a hard time, having hope, So I would say don't let your pain overwhelm you. And I think that's the hardest thing about some people because they can be stressed out, have bad anxiety,
Right.
So I'll be like, don't let your pain overwhelm you. So it's good to talk about these things because if you don't talk about these things, you're gonna let it take over you.
That's excellent. What do you do to help with that stress? What do you do? What are some of the things, coping mechanisms that you use? You're gonna be helping somebody.
Well, I would just say, just keep believing in God, and keep going, keep moving on. Because me personally, I haven't been moving on as well. So don't be like me and but you should think about the happy times like I go skating. So
We see that smile.
That's my hope, and then I just keep believing I'm gonna be a firefighter. So if you keep believing in your dream,
You are.
then you can keep going. I haven't I almost gave up on being a firefighter after I lost my belly. I feel like it ain't nothing else to live for, but you gotta realize that it is more to this world and it is more things that you can learn and get through.
Yes, ma'am. Ariel, thank you so much for sharing that. Marquand, did you want to know? Did you want to, okay?
You can take the words.
I sure will. What is, I'm gonna go to another one real quick, and this is important. What do you feel are the most important things to living a great life? That was a question that, Charles Knox gave us. So if you allow me to, can I switch that? Is that all right? Thank you. So what are some of the keys to living a great life for you? Yeah.
Knowing your history, because if you don't know your history, time will repeat itself. And also, and also,
You're doing well.
and also, you can also, self-reflecting is a big part of your life because you can understand your history and what you did wrong, so time will repeat itself.
Generation, no curses, break it. I love it.
I feel like I'm around a bunch of mature people. That's awesome. I'm gonna ask you, Marquand, what do you feel are some of the most important things to living a great life?
Some of the most important things.
For you, yeah, what gives you joy, what gives you peace, what gives you happiness and contentment?
Family,
Mhm.
that's really the biggest,
Yeah.
the biggest part.
And you know what, family is sometimes all we have, right?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I appreciate you for sharing. MD, Muhammad, what do you feel are some of the most important things to living a great life?
One, for me is also family, friends, the connections you build with other people,
Yes,
your coworkers,
yes.
if you're like an adult, 'cause I don't have, and also your mindset. Because mindset is also a part of the key to having a better life. It's the way you think.
Yes,
What do you think about others? What do you think about yourself? And how do you view the world? And how could you benefit yourself?
awesome,
love
love it.
Ariana, do you want to answer that one?
I'm sure. I would say, being able to be free and having people listen to you and letting them actually hear you out. Having your family to be there for you at all times because it's hard to lose somebody and to go through things. So if you just keep going, then you know that it'll be okay.
It absolutely will.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. You all are teaching me as well.
And
I
that's,
love it.
and
Thank
that's
you
how
so
it works,
much.
yeah.
I love that. So this question is from Lauren Tivides. Hello, panel and host. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and experiences with us today. Lauren's question is, when you think about your future career, what are the characteristics you are looking for in your work culture? I'll read it one more time. When you think about your future career, what are the characteristics you are looking for in your work culture? Let's start with MD.
What was the question?
Yes, when you think about your future career, what you want to do in the future, your post-high school plans, what are the characteristics you are looking for in your work culture? So what do you want your work or your employment or your future career look like?
My future career. For one, I want to be a software engineer, technical engineer, and architectural worker. But one characteristic I'm specifically looking for is the creativity. Creativity, because you can do a lot with creativity. It involves like designing, graphing, many other stuff that like show or stuff. Like almost anything that could probably like entertain you or make you interested. But creativity is everywhere. People think creative all the time,
Absolutely.
and that's specifically what I want to look for, especially with architectural structures. I want to look for the creativity in those for building designs, like the taller buildings, the widest buildings, or even that. I think that logo that was in Las Vegas. I forgot what it's called, but that's another characteristic of creativity.
Awesome. Marquand?
I would say respect, creativity as well, inclusivity and diversity.
Yeah. What about you, Anthony?
I'm currently like.
Yes.
I'm currently like in the middle of that now. Where I'm figuring out my career and stuff. But me personally, I'm looking for, I don't like the same thing consistently. So I can wake up and just go do the same thing over and over and over for the rest of my life. So my career choice will be modeling and somewhat acting, and I also am a social media influencer. So it's different things. I can travel, also work from home. I'll do what I want, but also every day of my life, I'm working at all hours.
Yes, spontaneous. I love that.
Making the most
I
of
love
it.
that about you. Awesome. And Aria?
More than anything, I just always wanted to be free and to be listened to, but besides that, you know, my whole life is based on being a firefighter. Because that's really what I want to be, and that's my whole dream, because I always want to help people, so with being a firefighter, there's good teamwork and just hearing people out and making sure that they okay, because you know it's hard to be a firefighter, because you know when it's that bad time, you know you gotta be able to lift them up and tell them that it's okay and keep moving on.
I appreciate you and supporting the firefighters, and I have family members, so I'm definitely gonna connect you with some folks for that. So this is gonna be one of our last questions, and this is from Sony. So what does belonging look like to you, and what role does it play in today's conversation? So let me read that again. What does belonging look like to you, and what role does it play in today's conversation of what we talked about? What does belonging look like to you? Where do you belong? Where do you fit in? What does belonging look like to you? What feel do you get? What sense do you get? Anthony, I see you thinking there.
I mean, I feel like belonging is like, it's your standard of comfort. So, trying to fit in and all of that is out of your comfort zone, because that's obviously where you was not meant to be. So, for example, you want to be in this friend group, but you don't think you meet the standards to be in this friend group, so you have to try to fit in. You shouldn't have to do that. So that friend group is not meant for you.
So you're saying be yourself.
Yeah, be yourself.
I hear you loud and clear. Marquand.
I agree with that, where you can be yourself, you can be comfortable, and you just feel good about where you are.
The environment, you feel supported,
Yeah.
loved, nurtured. Okay. Yes, Ariel. What does belonging look like to you?
Well, I never feel like I belong, but if I did, I would say just having somebody to listen to me, you know, and to ask me how I'm doing. And if I'm okay or whatever, and you know, being able to hear other people out, you know, actually caring about that person and make sure they okay. So just being able to know about how other people are feeling.
So I hear
is
you
a good belonging.
connecting. I hear the other connection.
I agree with all of them, and sometimes if you like, you have a child at home back in like some other state or country, and you're an adult, you're living somewhere else, but you don't feel comfortable there. So you probably went there for other reasons, job, other family members, other reasons, and then you go back to your childhood place, and then you just feel better, you feel nostalgic. You feel like you should have belonged.
Cause you can relate to the certain things, got you. Thank you so much for your responses.
Yes. So this concludes today's Coffee with a Purpose conversation. Thank you so much, Anthony, Marquand, Aria, MD. We are so grateful for you being here today. We are so grateful for your openness and willingness to share and be transparent, and for me to give me these teachable moments. I'm grateful for you all today. You represent the very best of Jobs for Michigan graduates, and we could not be more proud of you all for being here and being so open and honest today. So thank you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. And to Ms. Latanya, thank you so much for taking time to join us as co-moderator and representing Detroit Employment Solutions Corporation. DESC is an official workforce agency for the city of Detroit, a part of the Michigan Works Agency Network, and the engine driving Detroit at Work. To learn more about DESC, please visit DESCMIworks.org/about-us/. Youth Solutions is eager to partner with school districts and community-based organizations to foster belonging for youth by raising the youth voice, helping ensure they are seen and heard, and by giving them access to different career paths through education and work experience programs. If your school or organization is interested in exploring a partnership, visit ouryouthsolutions.org. If you would like to learn more about Youth Solutions, Jobs for Michigan graduates, Pershing High School, or DESC, links to these programs will be posted in the chat for you to reference. And last but not least, thank you to our audience for your time, energy, and interest. Tuning into these conversations will enable us to learn and take more appropriate actions to ensure a brighter, more equitable future for all of Michigan's youth. Thank you all for joining us today for part 3 of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion in Youth. I was going to say DEI, sorry. Coffee with a Purpose Roundtable. Mark your calendars and be sure to join us again on November 28th, as we will have a special 15 years of JMG session with some exciting guests from around the state. Stay safe and be healthy, everyone. We hope you plan to join us for our next Coffee with a Purpose.
And I just wanted to let you all know that Jobs for Michigan graduates here in the city of Detroit is located at Pershing High School, Osborne, Chandler Park, Covenant House Academy, I missed one. Cody, there it is. And then also Spectrum Human Services as well. So we're glad to be here, and we're so happy that you guys represented your peers and yourself well.
Thank you so much. Bye.